Hey guys, so recently I posted a video about me finally getting an email regarding EEOC interview, and you guys probably don't know what I'm talking about. So EEOC stands for the United States Equal Employment Opportunity Commission. That's what it stands for. And I was going to just read you my inquiry. It's kind of a fresh wound, so here it goes. Okay, it asks you what reasons were given for the action taken against you. I said there was no reason. Basically, I moved to Oregon from Kansas by myself. I have no family or friends up here. I started working for Infinity Rehab in my home facility was Chehalem Health and Rehab. I was assigned to provide manual therapy to a male who is quadriplegic and resembled my father. Same eyes and cheekbones. My job was to facilitate with reducing neck pain. The facility does not have private curtain areas where manual therapy is usually performed, so his physical therapy session would have to take place in his room for privacy purposes. The only way for me to reach his neck, because that was the target area for pain, the only way I could reach his neck was for me to sit on his bed with his wheelchair tilted so his head would be positioned in my lap. I was not able to use a pillow as a barrier because I have a very short torso. He would gaze up into my eyes and compliment my appearance. I would say thank you and look away. Then he started making comments about how he likes my thick thighs and that he loved the fact that they were around his neck and that my touch turned him on. I just said arousal promotes relaxation, which could be beneficial for reducing pain, but please keep it to yourself. You have to understand, I am bipolar and I have post-traumatic stress disorder and anxiety. So I do not have a middle ground. It was either hold my tongue or go off. So being a professional that I am, I held my tongue and never spoke of it. I felt as though I had to treat this resident since I am technically at the bottom of the totem pole. I'm a PTA, so I'm assistant to the PT. Plus, the male PT always seemed to push the manual therapy patients my direction. He's told me that he does not like touching other people, so I felt like I had no way out. I felt like I had no way out. One day, the OT came into the gym one day venting about how a male patient called her cute. She said, if you would not say that to a male therapist, then do not say it to me. I saw that as my window to get this heavy burden off my chest. Needless to say, she was highly disturbed. She asked me the next day if I could tell our boss, the director of rehab. I gave her my permission because he makes me uncomfortable. Initially, the director of rehab did not bother me, but everything changed after my annual review. I had just arrived at work after walking 1.5 miles due to my car previously breaking down. I walked 1.5 miles there, 1.5 miles back every day, walked 3 miles. So I just got there. He asked me spontaneously if we could do my annual review. I was not able to mentally or emotionally prepare myself for this important meeting that only happens once a year. Our discussion initially started in the physical therapy gym. but other staff and residents came in, so we had to relocate. The director of rehab had made a spot in the physical therapy storage closet, which he called his office. So it was just him, just him and I in this tiny closet with the door shut, the windows blinds drawn, and surrounded by equipment. I had a full-blown panic attack. I explained to him that it had nothing to do with what he was telling me. It had everything to do with being in an uncomfortable situation. I had to take a sick day since I was unable to calm down. The director of rehab never talked to me regarding the verbal sexual abuse I encountered that I encountered and that was reported to him via another coworker. However, he did mention it in passing. He asked who I was referring to. I told him. He said, "Oh, that's what I thought." That was all that was said and done. The verbal sexual abuse from this resident continued even after being discharged from physical therapy services. He is always outside, so when I needed to take a break, he would be watching me walk to the smoke area, which is on the other side of the parking lot. He is obsessed with my thick thighs. I could feel his eyes on me. It gave me cringes. So I went to work on May 3rd and threw up after wearing the mandatory surgical mask after only 10 minutes, which was very odd. I never throw up unless I have the flu. Anyways, I was unable to wear the mask without feeling lightheaded, so I was sent home. I thought I was pregnant, which is something I have prayed for since I was a little girl. I am a cancer survivor and was told that I may not be able to have children due to the treatment that my body had endured. I'm 34 years old now, so finding out that I was not pregnant was devastating. I feel as though I have mentally gone back 10 years. When I was first diagnosed with a bipolar disorder, I feel as if I broke from the inside out. At least this time, the suicidal thoughts didn't come back. I was not offered any services through my employer to facilitate with this drastic life-changing event. But of course, nobody knew about me being sexually harassed because the director of rehab chose to sit on that information. So all I could do is cash in my 60 hours of PTO, which living out here didn't last very long. So I have been struggling ever since, financially, emotionally, mentally, physically. At this point, I'm just trying to keep my head above water. I'm a new graduate and finally found a career I enjoy. Please help me make this right. It says, was anyone in a similar situation treated the same, better, or worse than you? I wrote, verbal sexual abuse from this particular resident has obviously happened before, since the director of rehab knew who I was talking about. And one of the CNAs that I've become good friends with works at the same facility. She informed me that she has also experienced inappropriate behavior from this resident. It says, I don't know what else to tell you about this point. If you have any questions, just ask. Well, watching that made me cry. I have a permanent cry mark. I can never hide if I cry. I have little red dots. Anyways, I hope you guys felt my pain, I guess, through my inquiry that I wrote. I threw everything in there, didn't I? I wrote that 6 months ago. Yeah. It took me 6 months to get my life back on track. Or back where I was before all this shit happened. But the funny thing is, though, he, the director of rehab, I don't use people's names, he had given me a letter, like a card. He gave all of us a card. And it's like a first month working with him. Because originally I had a director of rehab, was a girl. And she transferred to Portland. Because that's where she lived. So this other guy took her spot. So after working with us for a month or so, he gave us each letters or cards that said, I don't know, mine at least said, I don't know what everybody else said, but it basically was like, I learned 2 things from you. I learned more in depth 2 things from me, which was honesty and vulnerability. Which I think is very funny because it's about to kick him in the ass. My honesty and vulnerability, what he admires about me, is going to bite him in the ass. Oh. I think my story is pretty compelling. I think I'd get a lawsuit. I think I would win a lawsuit. Notifications just keep going off. I swear. Anyway, I just thought that part was funny. Well, I have the actual inquiry for my, I had the actual interview for my inquiry on November 2nd. So, keep your fingers crossed. Good vibes, please. Please, all good vibes.